World's Weirdest Animals. Sea Creatures. A Smart Kids Club publication. Contents at a glance. Introduction to the Animal Kingdom. We live on an amazing planet. Our Earth is full of incredible things. Some of these things are living and some are not. For example, a rock is not alive. How about a tree? And the bird sitting on its branch? Yes, these are both living things. Scientists divide living things into two groups called kingdoms. There is the plant kingdom and the animal kingdom. The animal kingdom is then divided into vertebrates, animals with backbones, and invertebrates, animals without backbones. Introduction to Sea Creatures. 2/3 of our planet is covered by oceans, so you can imagine how many different kinds of animals live under the sea. Animals in the sea can be as small as microscopic algae to the biggest animal in the world, the blue whale, that is about 100 feet long. The whale is a mammal, and there are other marine mammals like dolphins and porpoises, marine iguanas, saltwater crocodiles, sea snakes, and sea turtles are marine reptiles. There are crustaceans like crabs, mollusks like octopuses, and fish. Lots of fish. Blue dragon. The blue dragon is a species of small blue sea slug that goes by several other names like blue angel, blue glaucus, blue ocean slug, and blue sea slug. A slug is a marine invertebrate that is similar to terrestrial slugs. Slugs are like snails without shells. The blue dragon is about 1 inch long. It is silver gray on its back and dark and pale blue on its underside. It floats upside down. Its blue underside matches the blue water, and its gray back matches the silvery surface of the sea. It eats venomous jellyfish. This makes the blue dragon venomous too. Dumbo octopus. The Dumbo octopus gets its name from Disney's Dumbo the Flying Elephant character. This is because the Dumbo octopus has 2 big fins just above its eyes, and these fins look a little bit like Dumbo the elephant's big ears. It only grows to be about 8 inches long, much smaller than an elephant. Like other octopuses, the Dumbo octopus has 8 arms, but these arms are webbed, connected like the toes of a duck or a frog, so they help it to swim. This octopus is one of the deepest octopuses in the world. It can live in water as deep as 13,000 feet. Flamingo tongue snail. The flamingo tongue snail is a brightly colored sea snail with interesting patterns on its body. It lives in the tropical waters of the western Atlantic Ocean, from North Carolina to northern Brazil, and this includes the Caribbean Sea and the Gulf of Mexico. It is bright orangish yellow with black markings. The shell of the flamingo tongue snail is about 1 inch long. It lives on corals like a sea fan in shallow areas of the ocean where there are coral reefs. It attaches itself to the coral and looks for food on the surface of the coral. Mimic octopus. Do you know what mimic means? It means to pretend to be something else. The mimic octopus can mimic up to 15 other species of marine creatures. It can mimic a crab, and then when it gets close to the crab, it grabs the crab and eats it. It can also mimic a flatfish, a jellyfish, a lionfish, and a sea snake. It's very talented. The mimic octopus is also famous for being able to change its skin color so that it can blend in with its environment. It lives in the Indian and Pacific Oceans, from the Red Sea to the Great Barrier Reef of Australia. Narwhal. The narwhal, or narwhale, is a kind of whale that has a large tusk that looks like the horn of a unicorn. The narwhal's tusk is actually a canine tooth. It lives all year long in the cold Arctic waters around Canada, Greenland, and Russia. The narwhal is a medium-sized whale. It grows to be about 18 feet long and can weigh up to 3,500 pounds. The narwhal does not have a dorsal fin, meaning it does not have a fin on its back. During the winter, it eats flat fish, and in the summer it eats cod and halibut. It can live to be 50 years old. Sea cucumber. The sea cucumber is related to sand dollars, sea urchins, and starfish. Sea cucumbers live in oceans all over the world, but most live in the Asian area of the Pacific Ocean. They form groups called herds, and then they move across the ocean floor looking for food. A sea cucumber's body is long and gets its name because it looks a bit like the cucumber vegetable. It is usually about 12 inches long, but some kinds of sea cucumbers can grow to be up to 10 feet long. A sea cucumber can tighten its body so that it can fit into narrow spaces. Sea pen. This marine animal gets its name because it looks a little bit like a feather pen that people used to use with ink to write on paper. Sea pens live in tropical and temperate waters all over the world. There are 16 different kinds of sea pens. Sea pens are soft corals that live together in colonies. Sea pens are made up of tiny polyps, and these polyps form branches that make the whole animal look like the feathers of a pen. It is anchored to the floor of the sea by a root-like bulb. Some sea pens are brightly colored, like the orange sea pen. Snapping shrimp. The snapping shrimp, also known as a pistol shrimp, gets its name because one of its two claws is larger than the other, and it makes a really loud snapping noise with the larger of the two claws. This snapping noise is the loudest noise in the ocean. There are about 600 species of snapping shrimp, and they live in coral reefs and in seagrass all over the world. Some live in warm tropical seas, some in temperate waters. One species lives in cold seas, and one species lives in freshwater caves. They grow to be only about 2 inches long. Venus flytrap sea anemone. The Venus flytrap sea anemone is a large sea anemone that lives deep in the waters of the Gulf of Mexico. Snapping shrimp. The snapping shrimp, also known as a pistol shrimp, gets its name because one of its two claws is larger than the other, and it makes a really loud snapping noise with the larger of the two claws. This snapping noise is the loudest noise in the ocean. There are about 600 species of snapping shrimp, and they live in coral reefs and in seagrass all over the world. Some live in warm tropical seas. some in temperate waters. One species lives in cold seas, and one species lives in freshwater caves. They grow to be only about 2 inches long. Venus flytrap sea anemone. The Venus flytrap sea anemone is a large sea anemone that lives deep in the waters of the Gulf of Mexico and off the coast of Western Africa. It gets its name because it resembles the plant called Venus flytrap. This is a carnivorous plant that traps insects and eats them. The Venus flytrap sea anemone usually stays still, but sometimes it moves. It faces the current of the water. Here it waits until something tasty floats past, and then it collects the food. The Venus flytrap sea anemone can live in water that is nearly 7,000 feet deep. Warty frogfish. The warty frogfish is also known as the clown frogfish. It lives in coral reefs in the tropical waters of the Indian and Pacific Oceans. Some are brightly colored, while others are camouflaged to blend in with their surroundings. It takes several weeks for a warty frogfish to change colors. The warty frogfish grows to be about 6 inches long and is covered in small wart-like bumps. Because it has a really big mouth, it can eat food that is as big as its body. It is carnivorous and its favorite food is fish. Interesting facts. Electric eels can make enough electricity to light 10 light bulbs. A dugong is a marine animal that is also known as a sea cow. A blue whale is as long as 3 buses and weighs as much as 30 elephants, and its tongue is so large that 50 people could stand on it. Dolphins protect themselves while they sleep by keeping one eye open. A lobster can live to be 50 years old. The color of an octopus's blood is blue, and it has 3 hearts. Great white sharks can live for 3 months without eating. A sea sponge is the simplest kind of animal. It has no brain, no bones, no eyes, no head, no heart, no lungs, and no mouth. A group of jellyfish is called a smack. A shrimp's heart is found in its head. A fish called the mola mola, or ocean sunfish, lays up to 5 million eggs at one time. Seahorses are the only animals in which the male gives birth and takes care of their young. Fish don't have eyelids, so they can't close their eyes. The biggest starfish is called a sunflower star. It has over 26 arms. The jaw of an octopus is as tough as the jaw of a parrot.